another video, and since we had so much fun doing the tier list yesterday, we're going to be doing a Black Ops tier list, right? So we're not going to include any of the other COD games. I was debating including World at War, but I did not for the sake of this video. So we did it in the order that they came out, and we're going to start with Black Ops 1, right? And Black Ops 1 has to be an A tier, maybe even an S tier. The COD point system in that game was so fun. You could gamble, which probably shouldn't have in a kid's game. Well, not really a kid's game, but still. You could gamble, right? And then BO2, I'm actually going to do a step down. I know that's going to be a little bit controversial because a lot of people prefer BO2 than BO1. But I really prefer BO1's multiplayer and zombies. BO2 zombies was okay. Don't get me wrong. But BO1 zombies, I just loved more of the maps, right? So, then you got one that I never really played. And I don't really know where to put it. So, I'm going to just put it... This is COD Declassified. So, I don't really know where to put this one. This was only on the PlayStation Vita. And maybe the PSP. I don't know if it was on the PSP, but those were the only consoles that this was on. So I didn't ever have one of those. I was always a Nintendo DS kid. So I'm going to just put it in probably E, just because I don't really know. I wanted to include it, though, just to keep it included, because it is a very cool entry. If I could go back and play it, I probably would. And then we got BO3, which, in my opinion, is probably the only other S tier on this list. BO3's fucking zombies was the best. Actually, it's not an S tier. Not an S tier. We're going to put BO3 in A tier. Behind BO2. Because I just remember BO3's campaign was abysmal, right? And it was another jetpack game. Which, if you like the jetpack games, okay. If you didn't like it, then it just wasn't for you. And then we got BO4. Which was a nice blend of not being a jetpack game, but not being an old boots on the ground. It was a very... modern, but not modern. Like, it was modern, but it wasn't, like, to the point where it was jetpacks. And it was a very fun game to play. Very grindy. Very sweaty now. And for BO4, since only because it didn't have really a campaign and I wasn't that big a fan of the zombies, I'm probably just going to put BO4 in a B tier. Probably because the multiplayer was really fun. Right, and then you had the Outbreak mode, right? Isn't that what it was called? Where it was a fucking battle royale, and you got to play that, and it was the first battle royale. The only thing that was really weird was that was left behind a paywall, right? And then we got Cold War, which is probably the best of the newest 3 CODs, right? And we're gonna put Cold War in a C, right? Because I'm not the biggest fan of Cold War, not the biggest fan of the multiplayer, not the biggest fan of the campaign, but the campaign's kind of one of the better ones that they put out, but like in recent years, better ones they put out of BO7 and BO6. It's way better than those. So I'm probably gonna give it a D, right? I feel like Cold War probably deserves a D. It was kind of thrown together, and for what it is, it's a really good game, but I would rather play all the other games before I play Cold War. Except for zombies. Like, I'd probably rather play Cold War zombies before BO4 zombies. And then we got BO6, right? And BO6, we're just going to go straight up and put an F tier. It's an F tier game. And same thing with BO7. I know this might be a little bit biased, but based, whatever. I do not like the new games. I don't think they've done a really good job. I think the multiplayer is kind of the same every single year. I think the zombies is kind of the same every single year. And I feel like the campaign isn't even there. The campaign's not there in either one of the games. Especially BO7. BO7's campaign is abysmal. But anyway, let's go back and kind of reiterate why I picked what I picked. Call of Duty Black Ops 1 kind of set the foundation after World at War for what was to come from a Black Ops game, right? And it kind of set the foundation for what we expect in the story, what we expect in the zombies, and what we expect in the multiplayer. And then BO2 came and improved upon it in some aspects. And just like in the zombies, I feel like it kind of didn't improve upon it. Because really, Transit was not a great map. And not a great launch map compared to Kino, right? And I feel like the COD story in the campaign is way better in BO1. That's kind of why BO2 is a step down for me. The multiplayer is not as good. It's still legendary, not gonna lie. But it's not as good as Black Ops 1 in my opinion. And then you got Black Ops 3, which is still A tier because the custom zombies, in my opinion. The custom zombies and the modded scene kind of keep it alive. And just the maps that came with the zombies. And the multiplayer was really fun. So we can kind of forgive the campaign, right? Because the next game didn't even have a campaign. So we gotta kind of forgive the campaign for that, you know? Because BO4 didn't have a campaign, and BO4 is ranked relatively high. Because in my opinion, BO4 Zombies was just kind of a meh zombies. And you could only really get a couple hours of fun in the zombies, in my opinion. And then you had the multiplayer, which was really fun. I played a lot of this multiplayer. And then Outbreak, I did not play in the Prime, so I really haven't played too much of that. And then you got Cold War, which I think is sitting pretty at C, you know, because there's not much that Cold War does wrong, but there's not much that Cold War does blatantly right. The maps are just okay in zombies. The multiplayer is really fun, and the campaign's just okay. It's kind of middle of the road for me. It's not a bad game, and it's not a good game. And then you got Declassified, which is one that I never played. I never owned a PS Vita, so I kind of put it in E. I heard it's not really good. I've never heard really good things about it. And then you got BO6. And BO6 was really fun at launch. Dare I say it was one of the best games in recent years at launch. But then I feel like after launch they kind of ruined the game. If not, that might just be me. I feel like it got worse throughout the life cycle. I feel like it kind of did a reverse. Like it was perfect at launch. Don't change it. And then after launch, it changed. And then you got BO7, which the zombies is really fun. But other than that, I have not had any fun with the game in particular. The game's okay, don't get me wrong, but it's basically a repeat of last year with a fucking fresh coat of paint. Well, anyway, if you guys like that video, like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button if you can. If you can't, it's all okay. Just watching is honestly enough. Talk at you guys later.